Alrighty, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about what else other than selling options. And if you're new to selling options and you're just stumbling across my video, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on it, first of all. And second of all, I hope you gained some value from this video because selling options has, I think, changed my life. And I've become extremely passionate about it. And so I've been documenting on this channel for well over a year now me trying to sell some options for some extra income. And I don't think I can say trying anymore because I have been. I've succeeded in doing that. And so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any future videos. Down below, there will be a link to my course. If you're interested in learning everything you need to know to get started selling options on your own, go check that out. And it helps out the channel. Much appreciated. But today we're going to talk about how I use margin to make money from selling options. And I'm going to preface this by using margin is risky. And I'm not telling you to go out and go all in on margin because if things take a turn and you don't have money for somewhere else to put towards your margin, you could be margin called and lose your shares, which no one wants. But I tried to do it in a way that I can optimize my money by using margin so I don't have to use actual cash when I sell options. And so there's two types of options you can sell. There is a put and there's a call. And we're going to focus on puts, not so much calls in this video because you don't need margin to sell calls. You need 100 shares of a stock or some kind of security to sell covered calls on. So let's go through a scenario and let's say I want to sell a put on HIMS stock, which I have been doing some lately because HIMS has been paying great premium and it took a dip recently after their last earnings. So I took advantage of that, sold some puts on it, made some premium, put that towards shares of other stock, and it's been a good time. But let's say in this scenario, I want to sell a put on HIMS and we're going to look at expirations that are going to be next week. And usually when I sell puts, I sell weekly expiration. I don't go out too far. I could go to a month. I could go to a year if I wanted to. But for me, I like the flexibility and I like to sell weeklies. And let's say we wanted to sell this $47.50 strike put. And so some things about this put right off the bat has a delta of about 0.2. So there's an 80% chance that this is going to expire worthless, which is great. So when you sell this put, expire worthless means you are not obligated to buy 100 shares of HIMS stock. Because when you sell a put, what you're doing is you're getting paid by basically selling an insurance policy to someone else and saying, hey, if the stock falls below this price, we got you covered. We'll buy those 100 shares off of you and you cap your risk or minimize your risk. And because I'm doing that, I'm getting paid what's called premium. In this case, it's this number times 100. So it's $64 total that would make them premium. Now here's the caveat. When I sell this put, I instantly have to have money, and that's why it's saying right here, this is how much buying power I have. Why is that important? When I sell this, I have to set aside enough, and the brokerage takes control of enough money in case I have to purchase 100 shares. So in our case, it'd be $4,750. Robinhood's going to tie up and say, hey, I'm holding on to this until this put either expires or you buy to close it. Or you end up having to purchase those shares and it'll use that money you set aside to purchase them for you automatically if the option gets exercised. And so that part right there is how I use margin. I don't use my own money to set aside as collateral. I use margin and I use Robinhood's money to be the collateral in case I end up purchasing and having to purchase 100 shares. And what's great about this, what I love about this is you don't pay interest on this margin. So that 4,750, if this is a weekly put that I sell, and let's say I have this contract open for the whole week, I don't pay interest on that until /if that option gets exercised and I have to purchase those shares. And once I end up having to purchase those shares, that's when the interest starts accruing. But up until that point, I never actually purchase anything with the margin, and therefore I'm not being charged for that margin. And so theoretically, if you're familiar with rolling an option, you could sell an option, use margin as collateral, and let's say it's in the money and you don't want to end up using that margin, you could continuously roll until you get yourself up and out of that hole, hopefully, and you won't have to use margin that whole time. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is risky because you are using margin, and if things take a drastic turn, you may be margin called and you're forced to sell shares, maybe at a loss. So my advice, if you think about doing this, is have money somewhere else that you could free up to go towards this margin to avoid being margin called if that were to occur. But if we go through this scenario, this is really great because I have a calculator and you can go use this too. It's totally free. It's on selloptions.net, and we can go to options selling calculator. It's a put. Our example here expires next Friday. The expected premium per share, I already forget, it was 64 cents because it's per share, it's not times 100, so we're putting 64 cents, exactly as you see here in Robinhood. And the strike price was 47.50, correct? Yep. And let's say we only sell one contract. We'll hit calculate. Here's the premium we gained. It's this times 100. So you could probably do that in your head. But the ROI, this is how much we got in premium, so $64 relative to how much we had to set aside, like I mentioned, as collateral, which would be $4,750. The ROI, this over this, is 1.35%. So I essentially got a 1.35% return if I don't end up buying to close this and losing some of that premium and let this expire completely worthless. 1.35% return in 8 days time. And this right here is why I love selling options. I also love selling options because I can choose my own risk, right? I can go something closer to the current price of HIMS. I can go farther out. I'll make less money, sure. But now we're looking at something that has an 89% chance of expiring worthless, and I'll make $34 in 8 days time. That's 3+ Chipotle bowls. So if you want to calculate the ROI of certain trades, go check out my calculator on selloptions.net. And thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you want to learn more about selling options and help out the channel, go check out my course. It's linked down below. And thank you so much for watching this video.